engagement, a conversation with the people. See, this campaign is about relying on the people. We believe in the people. We don't pander to people. We believe that the people have the intelligence to figure out their own solutions. We want to be able to amplify those solutions and to support those solutions and to provide leadership in terms of that conversation. But we're talking about a democratic revolution here with this campaign.
Yes, could I just follow up on the question of education, which is my area of interest? I'm a professor of applied linguistics at the University of New York, and a parent of young twins. They're 11, they go to phase 41. So I've been able to actually see the disparity firsthand on both ends, both sides of the spectrum, from the early childhood all the way to doctoral work. My question is, could we use the analogy of too big and needed to break down the enormous DOEs, Department of Education? Because the truth is, New York City has, let's say, 1.5 million students. Nobody, no matter what type of body, can truly supervise what's needed for the students and the faculty. So is there a way that if you on your ticket can propose an idea that we have a limit on the size of schools? Schools should not really be having more than 600 to 800 students. Elementary schools in particular, high schools the same thing. And the second leg of this, second arm, is about teacher education. I have seen constantly hiring. I just came back from a committee where I was trying to hire more teachers. Teachers are not prepared. It's not their fault. There is no adequate teacher training requirement. Our teachers come to us fresh from grad school. They don't know first thing about teaching. And teaching is both an art and science, and it's an incredibly demanding process. So we need, on a federal level, to require training like other countries for a year minimum, where people will be able to train and actually come to our classrooms with that training. Would you be willing to take on these massive but very, very important issues?
I don't see how we can address the crisis of our education system without improving teacher training and support. Finland, which I understand to have the best and most effective education system around the world, basically does that. They train their teachers very well. They ensure that the movement. So yes, I mean, in principle, we're in complete agreement, and we'd be very interested in working, with you to help articulate, what kinds of standards and supports we need to provide to ensure that every child has a well-trained, well-supported, well-paid teacher.
We are running short on time, so one more question.
One question concerning the media. From some candidates' point of view, the media is the liberal media on one side, and other candidates, presidential candidates, refuse to even do a press conference for us. Do you feel you're running for president? It was pretty impressive. Do you feel like your message is getting out? Does it get out convoluted? And do you think the media is best set up to serve the people's needs and wants of this country?
I think as we've seen media consolidated over the last couple of decades into the hands of a few, major corporations, we've definitely seen the media hijacked from being a public service institution to being a very compromised institution. And it's very funny because the candidates who refuse to give press conferences are the ones who get all the coverage, and those of us who, are happy, more than happy, in fact, not even happy, but we feel it's absolutely essential to have public dialogue, and that includes with the press, who are essential to our democracy. Those of us who are ready to engage in this process are largely ignored by the corporate media, or the corporate media is under attack, and they will take really trivial things that are not a part of our agenda whatsoever, and basically try to stick in the knife. And this is kind of what we expect from the corporate media. Those of us who've been working in social movements for truly transformational change, for human rights, for peace, this unfortunately has become the rule rather than the exception for the corporate media. Is that rather than, how does the phrase go, afflicting the comfortable and comforting the afflicted, which is what the media ought to be doing, the media is generally comforting the comfortable and afflicting the afflicted and trying to shore up the very biased and problematic power structure that we have and to silence political opposition. So, I think a lot of people get that now, and that's kind of what's going on in social media, why so many people are tuning out of the corporate press, both the written press and the major, televised press. So much of the younger generation has just moved on because they see the corporate press as really an instrument of the economic elite that has thrown us under the bus. So we have a name for that old press. We call them the O-press or the repress that make us depressed. So, we do our best because there are people of integrity out there who are working in that system, and we hope to work through them and to reach the American people who really rely on an open media. I mean, you'd think anybody who's not a zombie would understand that we are in deep trouble. This election is not just about what kind of world we're going to have, but whether we're going to have a world or not. And for the people who are instruments of that political oppression and that media oppression, I wish you luck sleeping at night as our world continues to fall apart. And I thank people who are really here to help create an honest and open and fair public dialogue that clearly, our democracy is essential if we are to take back a future that we can all live in. So thank you for being here.
And on that note, thank you very much. You all have my card. If you would like to get further comment, please give me a call or email me. Thank you very much.